Listening to Charting Cryptos and Currencies. Let's jump into these charts. We'll look at Bitcoin first. We can see a green candle forming after a red spinning top last week. Since we had that week where things really plumbed down hard, we had a gigantic drop in Bitcoin there the week beginning the 24th of February. And of course, we watched Bitcoin on the 24-hour-a-day chart really hammer down with lots of volume. Then for the next 2 weeks, moving down. Then last week, beginning the 17th of March, we had a red spinning top with, again, volume continuing to drop. Don't know if we'll get up to, we'll probably get up to where things were last week, this week, maybe a little higher, but we're in the green. For the day, as I record this on Wednesday, the 26th of March, we are down 0.28% on this 24-hour-a-day chart as I come to you in the evening. Now, we look at our expected probability and backtest confidence, 70% probability of an up move. Entry points lower than we are right now. Exit point, that would be at 86,200. Exit point is 89,500. That's where we get some resistance as we move up. We expect that move in the neighborhood over the next 5 days of $3,300. And our backtest accuracy is around 72%. Now, again, I tell you these things for educational purposes. We're not a Bitcoin, Ethereum, or currency calling service. We are an education firm. Want you to practice trade with us, understand how we do this and how you can learn to do it and practice it. You can see over the last several 2-day candles, we have been slowly edging up. You can look at the half day. Well, it's not a half day on this chart. It's 195 minutes. And of course, it is a 24-hour-a-day chart, but you can see where things have zoomed, pulled back, zoomed, pulled back. Now we see things moving over as we moved through the day, morning and the afternoon on Wednesday, heading down, and again ended up down just a little bit overall for the day, but we still have this green candle for the week, pushing through cleanly and clearly that weekly trend line, leaving us in positive territory with that directional probability and the backtest accuracy. Let's see how that goes. Now, as we look at Ethereum, we still are forecasting continued down movement. It's down today 2.77% as opposed to 0.32% for Bitcoin. We are 60% down probability, 65% backtest accuracy. Our entry point is right about where we are now. We see about a $98 decrease over the next, around $100 over the next 5+ days. Like I said, a 65% backtest accuracy. What about BITW? This is the Bitwise Top 10 Crypto Index Fund. That means that it's top 10 cryptocurrencies weighted as per market share, with Bitcoin being the big dog. And with Bitcoin's up movement, we can see that Bitwise has moved up this week far as a nice green up candle, clearly pushing through that weekly downtrend. Not a lot of volume here. Volume's been decreasing going into the 4th week. And we can see where things really popped up strong on Monday like we saw in the crypto market, and then petering off since then, down 1.13%. But we nonetheless have a predicted up move at around 80% with a backtest accuracy of 78% in about $6 from around the $52 mark up to $58. So we'll see how that continues to play out through the week. You can look at the charts and see that we've clearly breached that. I wish we had some volume to back it up. We do have some volume there. It will blow up. You can see on the half day, well, we had average volume there where things really popped up strong on Monday, and then losing since then, volume really whacked off. Did have some in the afternoon on the down move, and we had that volatility. So we'll keep our eye on Bitwise as we move through this week and over the next 5 days. Let's move on to currencies. see where they lead us. The first is the British pound. Now, of course, the pound started after it moved down, hit its interim low back in mid-January. Since then, but for 1 week, and of course this last week, Bitcoin was moving up. We had a doji that week beginning February 3rd, and this week we've broken through that prior decent trend line. Some weeks where it was slow, but again, we have fallen off a pretty good bit. Nonetheless, our expectation is still about 85% that we'll continue to move up, about $3.30 from the $123.50 entry price, a little lower than where we are now, up to $126.80. Our backtest accuracy is around 84% according to our calculations. So keep that in mind. If you are long, if you've been long the pound for a while, you might just want to hold on, see how things continue to go. Now, when we look at the euro, I mean, it has fallen off quite a bit. We've got a doji there, lots of indecision. You can see the volume. You can see, and again, when we look at red volume, it doesn't mean negative. It means that it opened lower than the prior close. And that happened both last week and this week. You can see where we have 3 down candles and where it has been continuing to tick down. When we look at where things are on FXC, we are nonetheless bullish on that, and we'll continue to keep an eye on it. I'm having some trouble seeing that on the charts, but our calculations are showing about an 80+% probability of continued up movement to the tune of about $3.30 from $99. So that's lower than we are right now. We see things move down, hit that mark. And then, of course, like with all these, when it's an up move, you want to see a green 195-minute candle leading you up with good volume. And if indeed that does trigger you, then of course you have the opportunity to jump in and ride that up to around the 102.30 mark. Like I said, $3.30. So that is where we are. Lastly, we'll look at the yen. Now, what I find fascinating about the yen is that, of course, we talked, when's the Bank of Japan going to jump in and smash this down? Well, they started last week, didn't they? And we saw things peel off that nice trend line up. We had a red spinning top with all the volume, and no surprise, down move this week. And no surprise that our directional probability is 75% down. Entry point is right up almost exactly where we are right now, 61.20. We see a $1.40 movement over the next 5 days down to 59.80 and a 77% back test accuracy. I have a feeling the Bank of Japan's in charge of that, driving it down. That is where we are. Always love to hear from you. cw@chartingwealth.com is our email address. Don't hesitate to reach out to us. There's something we can answer for you. Let us hear from you. God bless.